Hello, this is Hector Combo, your friend. I'm a little bit fuzzy because I've been trying to record this video for a couple of tries, and I hope that this one is the good one. And the opportunity that I'm presenting to you today is earning free Bitcoin by doing online tasks or by shopping online or going to a store for a coffee and getting a reward for doing so. And the options that are available to you will be covered in this video. There's Lolly, there's Fold, there's Pay, and there's also airdrops. So I want to focus a little bit on each tab that I have open over here. But at the same time, I like to begin this video with something that is very critical. For me, I feel it's very important, and maybe you will think the same thing. The question is, who runs the economy? What's going on with the economy? Why are we in such a place where the government and the authorities in general in banking tell us that things are going well and that they're trying their best to maintain the stability of the economy? And while the president says that job numbers are great and the stock market continues to grow, the unfortunate part about that is that government statistics, especially job numbers and the rest like that, are usually very unreliable. They're unreliable because they aid in the narrative that the government has things under control. And that's one thing that is not just particular to governments, but it's also part and parcel with banks. And as in general, with authority figures, when they ran out of ideas and they don't know what to do when they lose control, they put on a pretense. And my main worry, especially with my friends and family, is that they are going to be left unprepared when it comes to dealing with the recession. There's a very serious issue, fundamental issues that are not being discussed, whether it's, a blue versus red, it doesn't matter. For me, if you follow this channel, I'm a free market anarchist. And full disclosure, my investment in time and energy are for the development of my personal lifestyle, personal desires, and stuff like that, as long as they don't harm others. But here's the thing about it: not many people follow that idea of that live and be free. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't want those people to be hurt by the economic recession. So that's just to be clear. I'm not an expert. I am just a person with a YouTube channel with a lot of opinions. And so these opinions, in my estimation, are not appreciated very much. In fact, when I talk about Bitcoin to individuals in my personal life, they're underwhelmed because their response is usually, why would I want to invest in a risky asset that the government and other authority figures are telling me that is for basically evil people, that is a scam and it's not going anywhere. And so for someone who has followed the development of cryptocurrency and especially Bitcoin, I have found this discussion usually goes into cycles, and these cycles are wherever the price of Bitcoin lies. So if, let's say, if it dips, there will be someone on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, or wherever saying how everything has gone and lost forever. Or there will be a CNBC report saying how, oh, this is just not a good idea. You shouldn't have any of it. And then it continues to grow and grow unimpeded, almost unimpeded. And so this growth, there's a real reason why it continues to grow and why it may even continue to grow to a higher high. And I'm not here to try to manipulate your greed and ask you to continue on putting money into something you don't understand. I'm just here to really give you some tips, man, because, or woman, you can't tell nowadays, right? So the thing is, coming into this trend, why is this happening? This is happening for a very important reason, which follows up with this article. But because it is a mainstream article, it only gives you a superficial analysis of what is happening. So a lot of retailers are finding it hard to continue on competing with such debt and with major monopolies like Amazon. So what does it mean for the individual who's working maybe a service job, who's working retail, and they get on completely caught off guard? For a personal example, I would like to reference Earth Fair. So I used to work there before, and now it's going to close its doors. It's bankrupt. In my opinion, it should have gone bust years in the past. But real people get affected when a business like that closes because they have money invested, they have time invested in it, and now they have to go look for a job. But according to the job statistics, there are so many jobs to go around. There's so many jobs now that you need 2 jobs in order to maintain, the same standard of living that was accustomed maybe 10, 20 years. So it's not just one precedent. It's just not one cycle. It's much more complicated than that. And if you follow the petty politics, you'll never get the big picture. You have to follow the markets, because the market is the organic transactions or interactions between individuals. So that's what the decentralized cryptocurrency market represents. So let me step down and stop using all these fancy schmancy words. Really, what it means is that you as an individual are always free, and the interactions with other people collaboratively reach towards a certain spontaneous order that usually leads to cycles of prosperity and scarcity. So during these cycles, there are people in control in government that tell us that they can just make it all one horizontal line of prosperity. So the economy cannot be controlled by a government. That's just not possible. They can try to manage it, they can try to move it. And so, let's skip forward a little bit so that we can skip this long lasting rant from me. The picture that I'm trying to put forward is that while it might be expensive to buy a 10,000 Bitcoin right now, it's not necessarily expensive in the long term. But let's say you don't have any money and you really want to get into it, and you think that it has something to offer, or at least you're thinking of it as a savings account or something that you can hold on to, and then some reward will come later. And so the best way, in my opinion, to get started is through Lolly. And because Lolly, it has a really decent marketing team, and they're very responsive. I've had some interactions with their support team, and I'm actually very happy to be using it. And so what is Lolly? Lolly is essentially earn free Bitcoin when you shop online. So going through this website, you can learn a little bit more. You install the Lolly extension on your favorite browser, then you shop the web through all these listed vendors that are approved. So once you have the extension installed on your browser and you want to shop something online, you pick one of these vendors that you want to buy from. And once you start shopping with them, the extension will activate itself. You see it here right now, it's activating. And this little green button right here is the Lolly extension. And it's telling you you got 4 to 4.5% or 2 or 27%, depending on the item, of a bit back. So you shop and you earn Bitcoin in return. So that's a beautiful thing, right? And so for me, I have done that myself with my traveling expenses. I've booked an Expedia hotel, or what I booked through Expedia, and got a reward later on. So you have to wait a little bit longer so that the confirmation of the payment goes through and that the vendor received it. And usually it takes a couple of days, so you got to be patient with it, and you want to make sure you are informed so that way you don't panic and think that you didn't do it right. So the second one that I like to offer in this guided tour of free Bitcoin, there is another one that is as exciting, but I mean, I'm not necessarily using it. I'm starting off barely into it, dipping my toes. One of the things that it offers is gift cards. So the gift card program essentially is you buy the gift cards and you get a certain percentage of Bitcoin in return. And once you add that gift card to your phone or you use it to shop, you can, pay as you can buy more of those gift cards. And there's different options, and I will implore you to look into it. Since I barely even use it, I'm going into it. I prefer Lolly, honestly. So the other one that might be interesting, and I'm actually looking into, is Pay. The Pay reward system is it seems very intuitive. So you link your card, spend as you would at favorite spots, receive automatic cashback in Bitcoin or cash. So here you can go to the Starbucks coffee shop and decide to buy an actual coffee cup that costs like about $7, $10. But that percentage, a certain percentage of that will go into Bitcoin. And I think if you, on a long-term scale, if you get this right in accordance to your personal lifestyle, you can really accrue some Satoshis. So the video is stacking Satoshis. And the term means that slowly but surely, you're going to be stacking really small units of Satoshis or Bitcoin. A Bitcoin is about point and then 8 zeros. So it's about, you can divide one Bitcoin into 8 different divisions. So from 1 0, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, and so forth, floating points and all, and you can divide that. You can divide one Bitcoin into 8 different dividends or points or whatever. So I'm not a math person, but I understand it in the general terms. I hope I didn't confuse you. So you accrue those Satoshis, you hold on to them, and eventually, as the market continues to progress and evolve, that Satoshi will grow in value. And that's the important part here. You want to have a return on your value. The other thing that I really also implore people to look into is the Brave browser. I covered it in my last video on just alternative ways to earn a passive income, or I think it was investment idea, something like that. And I mentioned it briefly, and I think that it deserves more attention because it is a highly exciting project. It's a token based on Ethereum. And essentially what it does is it gives you money for what you usually do, surfing the web. And it also blocks ads and trackers, and it saves you a good amount of time so you don't have to, click off the ads here and there. But because it is very, it's a browser that is very how would I put it? It can cause some problems if you have a certain website that has a lot of ads. For example, I sometimes watch Hulu, and the video will stop and it'll tell you enable ads. So you can have some issues like that. But once you get it all set up and you download the browser, it gives you gives you a token address, the basic attention token address. So let's look at what I have here on my setup. On my setup here, I have currently 4.3 basic attention tokens valued per each of these tokens. I think it is about 30 cents. And the total value in dollars is $1.25. Okay, so that's just for this month. I withdrew my funds about 2 or 3 weeks ago when the basic attention token was going up. So what does it mean? So what? You get money for like watching ads and that's it. Well, the thing about it is I have not seen a project that rewards this much just for interacting with ads. And you're missing out on an opportunity to really, really grow your Satoshis. Let's say, for example, you have the basic attention tokens and you want to withdraw them, and you do so, and then you can exchange it for Bitcoin. And the market with the basic attention token has been growing and growing, and it's just something that you got to look into. To give you a reference point, let me open up my Exodus wallet so that you can have a certain idea of how much you could expect to earn. Just so you know, I earned this throughout a period of maybe 3 months, maybe 4 months. And the beauty of it is now it's giving me something in return, and just for doing what I usually do. Okay, we just wait a minute here. Welcome to Exodus. So, okay. Okay, here we go. So I was awarded 148 basic attention tokens, and now that is valued $42.77. Not a great amount, but for someone who's struggling and trying to get ahead in this recession, it means something. It's an optimistic sign, an indicator that there is something outside of this controlled, rigged stock, this controlled, rigged economy that is just being pumped and dumped and at the profit of some people. So I'm not someone who criticizes capitalism just for the sake of envy. I don't have any envy in people producing wealth and doing something. But the major reason that Bitcoin, or in general cryptocurrency, is growing and growing and growing is not necessarily because of some mania and people, the young people are just trying to get all these digital tokens. It's because for the major portion of the economy is based on essentially rigging the market so that certain group of people get profits. Meanwhile, the people outside of that coterie of individuals or interconnected monopolies get all the risk. There's some socialists say, well, they socialize debt and they privatize profits. That's what they say. But neither the left or the right can agree on one major aspect. That major aspect is the economy is a natural, organic thing that does not need an elite set of experts to dictate it. But those very same experts can rig the market and can tell you by fear or like by demagoguery, show you that everything's fine. Okay, that rants out of the way. But the major reason why it's going up, we're in a recession and people are trying to put their money where it's going to keep on going up, or at least have some savings. And this is a good opportunity for anyone to get into it. And you don't really need to risk it. It's as long as you have the time and the energy and you can do your own research, you can get a good leg up on this. So I'm going to keep it short. And I think that this is the best way to go about it. Check out the following videos and that will be end for it. All right.